So it is 8:30 in the morning, and been up for a couple of hours, and that's just my life now. Not having a job to go to during the week. It's not a lot of fun, to be honest. Not to have that structure in your day. And so, one of the things I'm trying to do is just keep busy as much as I can. I ran some errands yesterday, and I find running errands now takes a lot longer than it used to. And maybe I stop and have a coffee and just breathe. Because, to be honest, I have had a couple of days where it's been hard to breathe. It's been a challenge. And so today's going to be a slightly busier day than it has been, normally speaking, but I just thought I'd do a get ready with me because it's been a while. And maybe this is a quick get ready with me. I'm going to try to see if I can make this a quick one, but I'll be talking, so just take that into consideration. I'm going to go Christmas shopping, and I hope it's not too busy on a Wednesday morning, but it is exactly 1 week to Christmas, I think, or maybe 6 days. I think 1 week. I'm gonna get some things for my kids. I might get something for myself. I'll look and maybe treat myself in a way that I haven't really in some time. But lots of stuff on my mind lately, about Christmas and just not having a lot of money right now. Having thousands of dollars of bills due in the next 10 days and only having hundreds of dollars in the bank. So that's a challenge. But yeah, Christmas shopping today. My kids are going to have Christmas, and that's the end of it. I gotta go tell my landlord that I can't make my rent in January. Sorry about that. But then also breaking my lease and moving to Vancouver. I'm not sure where that goes. I imagine they'll come after me for the 3 months, but at this point, it's kind of like just get in line. But one of the big things today is I have a fourth interview with an insurance carrier in Vancouver, and senior vice president there. And at this point, it's probably down to me and one other person. So no pressure on that kind of situation, but it feels great. The interviews I have had have all gone well. I've had one yesterday. It was a really cool director of sales position, managing wholesale relationships in British Columbia. And it's interesting. So to that point about the interview yesterday, is I have this process now over these interviews, and I think it's working. So I apply. I see a job I'm qualified for, and I apply. And because my skill set and industry knowledge and experience is kind of unique, there's not a lot of people with my level of experience. There are lots, but there's not a lot. And there's only so many seats at the table. And so anyways, what's happened is that I apply, in the afternoon or in the evening, and then usually the next morning, almost, as soon as they open their inbox, HR is contacting me. And so the initial contact from HR is from all these different organizations, 8 of them now, and some of them you've heard of. Is, hey, got your resume, we'd love to set up an initial conversation, the basic screening interview before they pass you over to the hiring manager. I don't know if that's what it's like in other industries out there, but in financial services, my experience at multiple organizations now over the last 13 years, it's always been like that. I like the buff and the concealer. when I'm doing it. So yeah, that was color corrector and then the concealer, and then I buff it in. And so here's my process. Back to that, yes. So my interview yesterday process. What I do is, after I respond to that email, because the initial application is always structured software. It'll strip the data from the text from your resume, and then you just kind of correct it as you proofread it and then submit it. So there's no real opportunity to go outside of those lines. But in my email response, I confirm, hey, I'm available tomorrow at 2 or today at 3. And then I say, if you need any other questions, please check out my LinkedIn profile. And on my LinkedIn profile, I've got a transgender advocate. I've got some YouTube links, very clear who and what I am about, very clear who I am and what my expectations are. And then I also close it with my pronouns at the end of the email. And so yesterday, and what's great about LinkedIn is you can see who's looked at your profile. It pops up. And so yesterday, I kept looking for this HR person and to check out my LinkedIn profile. I kept refreshing it as I prepared for the interview at 3, and they didn't. And, I haven't done anything with my voice. Maybe it's a mistake. I don't know. It does bother me. Yes, it does bother me. But it's not a dysphoria. It bothers me insofar as how people receive it, but it doesn't induce dysphoria. So, I think there's a line there. Anyway, so HR lady calls me. Hey, it's Kate. Hi, Kate here. And she thought she had the wrong number. I'm so sorry. And then I was like, no, who are you looking for? And, this is Catherine. Yes, you've reached the right person. And so, yeah, I knew A, she hadn't checked out my LinkedIn profile, and B, she wasn't prepared for that. She recovered very quickly, very professionally, and everything was fine. And so I referenced somebody I used to work with who works at that organization now. And I guess she walked down the hall and chatted with this person because they checked out my LinkedIn profile almost immediately after that interview. So I thought that was funny. But the interview went well. That one went well yesterday. Applied for a couple of director of sales roles this week. And the one cool one, I think, is the Vancouver Whitecaps. I imagine the pay is a lot less than what I'm used to. And this is NYX. I don't think you can see it. I can't see because I don't have my glasses on. But NYX foundation I got from the dollar store. It must have been on liquidation or something, but it actually matches my skin pretty good. On days like today where I don't want to really go too heavy, what I do is I cut my... Also, I'm broke, so I want my makeup to last longer. What I do is I cut my foundation with moisturizer, just kind of 50-50, just like that. And just mix it up. Nothing... I put too much on this morning because I'm too busy talking and I'm distracted. But, I just do that. And then I use a brush and I just kind of paint it on. All in all, across all the interviews, in person, in phone, by video, I've been gendered correctly, consistently, zero issues, zero mentions, zero reference, zero questions. I'm applying to places where there are HR teams and HR policies in place, corporate large Canadian organizations. So, they are certainly aware of the human rights legislation, Bill C-19, that I'm a protected person under Canadian law, so on and so forth. And so it's been actually a real pleasant surprise, and it's taken a load off, a total load off in terms of when I'm interacting with the interview and the hiring manager. That's gone well. I look forward to the interview this afternoon. I'm not anxious, but I'm a little on edge about it. So, so Christmas shopping, go see my landlord, have the interview, and then going out with a friend tonight. And, I'm kind of making my rounds in Calgary and saying goodbye to people as well. The job loss has caused tremendous disruption in my life. It's hard to say goodbye to people. It's hard to not walk away, but it's hard to move away and, feel like things are unfinished. But I accept that it's the way it is. And even if my kids and their mom weren't moving to Vancouver or British Columbia, I would probably still need to go there because there is no work in Alberta. And I think just the number of interviews, emails, and jobs, a lot of software jobs, and I'm not really keen on software, to be honest, but the number of jobs that are out in Vancouver, and Toronto, I look at Toronto too, and that would be high on my list if the kids were there. And the issue is at my age, at 42, I don't want to go somewhere like Toronto and always want to go to Vancouver. And I love Toronto. I would live there tomorrow, but I think it's time to go somewhere, and that's it. I've moved in my life, I've lived in Minneapolis, Winnipeg, Edmonton, Calgary. I feel like I lived part-time in Grand Prairie for a couple of years, Castlegar in British Columbia, and I just want to be done. So if I bounce around, East Van, Coquitlam, Burnaby, and if I live in Surrey, it's because I work in Surrey. I have really no interest in living there. It's a great place. My mom lives there, my sister and her family live there, and they all seem to really enjoy it. But ultimately, I don't want to be controlled by a bridge, and that's my main issue with Surrey. Surrey, North Vancouver, Richmond. Richmond's kind of a lesser extent, I find. But at any rate, there's just work there, and it's like the work is dried up here. And in addition to it being Christmas, and it's just not a good time of year. I think a lot of companies aren't posting roles. Imagine Q1 we'll see a bunch more roles. I find it really hard to do my eye makeup when I wear glasses because I'm so blind. So I tend not to do a lot, or as much as I used to. Very, very simple makeup. The main challenge in Vancouver is housing costs. It is one of, if not North America's most expensive housing market. The chances of me purchasing a home there are zero. Both from an affordability perspective, but also philosophically, I'm not paying $1 million for a house in Vancouver. And if you're not familiar with the Vancouver housing market, just Google it. Go look up Crack Shack or Not, I think is what it is. And it's ridiculous. It's a combination of a number of things, whether it be interest rates, which is what I personally see it as, kind of the Motley Fool, Greater Fool concept, as well as foreign money laundering, abuse of existing loopholes in agricultural land, and it's just frustrating for pretty well everybody in Vancouver. That's just kind of the way it is. And, really, I don't know that I want to own a house ever again. Maybe a condo or a townhouse, but what an albatross, an absolute albatross, whether it's having a mortgage that you're not able to exit or relocate like this. And so I still own my house, legally speaking. My name's on the mortgage. It's all part of the separation agreement, and my former spouse lives there, and she covers everything. But it's an absolute albatross in my estimation, at least. And But looking for rental places in Vancouver is very challenging, affordability wise, because like I don't think people are gouging renters for the most part. I'm sure it exists, but like if you're carrying $1 million mortgage and all you've got down is $50,000, like your monthly carrying costs are $5,000-$6,000 a month in terms of that mortgage. And so, yeah, you are renting out a place, sometimes at a loss, I would think, like if I'm seeing rentals for $3,500 and $3,200, $2,900. What is cool is there's a couple of Facebook groups for queer roommates in Vancouver. So there does seem to be a lot of resources in the area. And, while I am looking forward to my brother's couch, I don't think it'll be long-lived. And they're affordable. So, if you have 4 or 5 people splitting that home that rents for $3,000, your rent is $600, $700, $800 a month. It does seem like a private bathroom is the DLC of the Vancouver rental market, though. So I would like to find a place with a private bathroom. I don't know if I will, but that's my hope. I just feel like it's. I don't think I need to explain why anybody would want a private bathroom. But it is a lot of pressure. My main goal is get a job. After I get a job is find a place. And then once I've found that place, I'm going to school. I've registered at Simon Fraser University to do HR. One of the things I've noticed is, looking at different jobs for which I have some experience in or some exposure to, I find that my interaction, my engagement, or my ability to maybe lead a team in that world is limited in that I just know a slice of what that is. So I can talk about benefits, I can talk about risk, I can talk about, disability management, but I can't necessarily talk about hiring practices or compensation or that sort of thing. Performance management, I have some exposure to, some understanding of. I want to expand my knowledge base, expand my skill set, but then also codify it as well, the stuff I do know. And I think that's been one thing that I've realized is probably my biggest mistake, is that at this point in my career, I don't have a designation, and I should have 2 or 3 by this point. I always took this position that I could hire somebody, or, my employer would hire somebody with that designation for me because I was such a good salesperson. And there is some truth to that. But having that safety net removed really reminded me of a lot of things. And I can tell you all the excuses why I never got it. Time, kids, travel, work, money, whatever. It's something I need to correct. And I'm also seeking a designation outside of the traditional kind of sales roles as well. So I think that's going to benefit me in the long run. This is a powder I have started using, and it's all right. What I noticed the first time I used it is I started sweating and it got really cakey. So I try to make sure that it's really buffed in, blurred out, whatever you want to say. But I do find that in terms of a setting powder, translucent powder, that it's actually really good. And it was only $6.99 at Walmart. Hard candy, that's what it is. So yeah, it seems to last all day. In terms of being able to feel it. So that's kind of my update, in terms of getting ready with me, and what's going on in my world. It is stressful, it is difficult, it's challenging, but I think I'm staying focused and positive for the most part. It's not to say I don't have really hard days, because I do, but yeah, I feel good, and I'm hopeful that this is just a massive temporary inconvenience. So I hope you've liked the update, and yeah, leave a comment down below. Please like, subscribe, and share. And thanks for watching. Here's to life.